Welcome to Life Words Day by Day, where we are reading about the story of Hannah and Samuel in 1 Samuel chapter 1. And in verses 24 through 28 it says this, "And when she had weaned him, she took him up with her, along with a 3-year-old bull, an ephah of flour, and a skin of wine. And she brought to him to the house of the Lord at Shiloh, and the child was young." So Samuel is now weaned and walking, most likely. So Hannah packs up her things and she heads to the temple. It's most likely another family trip, so Elkanah is with her. We're not sure of the rest of the family, but I would imagine so. Regardless, it's not necessarily important to this part of the story, but what is important are the intentions of Hannah. Why is she going to the temple at this time? Is she going to try and beg out of her vow? Is she really going to leave Samuel at the temple to be raised by Eli the priest? After all, notice how verse 24 ends. "And the child was young." Such a young child, no more than 5 years old, even if that. His hair still had baby curls. He still needed help with his socks and shoes and brushing his teeth and wiping his face during supper. She could still scoop him up and put him in her lap without his feet dragging the floor. She had so much more she wanted to teach him, to share with him, silly songs to sing with him, fun stories of how a mighty God had rescued her people from scary Egyptians. Would she really hand him over to Eli? How could she do this? Notice what it says in verse 25. "They slaughtered the bull and they brought the child." Very purposeful wording here so that we might equate the sacrifice of the bull and the giving of the child. It was a sacrifice for the parents. Notice, it was not just Hannah, it was they. They slaughtered the bull. They brought the child. And then it says that Hannah said, "O my Lord, as you live, my Lord, I am the woman who was standing here in your presence, praying to the Lord. For this child I prayed, and the Lord has granted me my petition that I made to him. Therefore, I have lent him to the Lord. As long as he lives, he is lent to the Lord." And he worshiped the Lord there. What a sacrifice. But more importantly, what an act of worship. That is what this is. Hannah is responding to God being faithful to his word. She's worshiping. And worship is our response to God being faithful to his word. This story of Hannah and Elkanah and Samuel is far more than just a heartwarming story about a family. This story is about proper worship of God, which at that point in time in the history of Israel, it wasn't taking place. And as we shall see in the weeks to come, it wasn't taking place. It was also to show that first audience who received 1 Samuel a few things about proper worship, biblical worship. That worship wasn't just about offering thoughtless animal sacrifices to the Lord, but worship was costly, costing you what you loved most in the world, trusting that the Lord could handle and manage it better than you can. Does that describe your worship and service to the Lord? As you pray today, please remember Reginald Acuna and his family, our Changemaker missionaries in Paraguay. And also remember the Hindi Kenya Life Word broadcast that's heard throughout Kenya.